All right, let's go to this now. Today marks 1,000 days since the families of the Lily Mine employees who were trapped underneath that particular container. It marks 1,000 days since they've been camping outside the mine, and the families are not letting up, saying that they are demanding that the remains of their loved ones be brought to surface. Let's then speak to Harry Mazibuko, who speaks on behalf of the families. Mazibuko, thank you so much for your time this evening. I was listening to Action SA leader Harry Mazibuko earlier on this morning, saying that he feels like he's failed the families of the 3 employees because even to date, nothing has happened. The families still don't have the remains. And for him, it's such a painful day. I wonder how difficult this day was for the families. But Mazibuko, I'm not sure if you're able to hear us. All right, it looks like we might be struggling with that line to Harry Mazibuko. We are trying to re-establish a better line with him as we try to understand how the families are doing. I mean, today you would have seen them even at, throughout the day, really showing some emotion and the difficulties that they are experiencing today. And I do understand that Mazibuko is back with us. But Mazibuko, I hope it's a better line right now. I was saying that earlier on in the day, Action SA leader Harry Mazibuko was saying that it's a difficult day for him because he feels like he's failed the people of that community, especially the families, because he's been working with them to try and ensure that that container is brought to surface. I wonder how much of a difficult day it's been for the families.
Yes, a very difficult one indeed, especially on the families' side, you see, because we are facing this not on this day of which we mark 1,000 days, but every day and every night together with the families, because all we need is closure. So we believe there are those who are in power who have done nothing to us or injustice. So for us, the only weapon that is have is through media to tell our story, to voice out our frustration, you see, especially to our own government. So we are very fortunate to have people of Harry Mazibuko character and willingness to assist people without any benefit, because he did mention today that he has already spent over R1 million assisting us. So we are very grateful to some, but there are few. We need more of such people in our country. We should be having a far more better country.
Baba, when you talk about closure, the families have not hidden the fact that they want that container to be brought to surface. And for them, that is going to be really crucial when it comes to this process of closure. Do they still believe that there is will enough to be able to bring this particular container to the surface?
Yes, we're still hopeful as the families, you see, because every employee, when he goes to work, there's a point where by return back home, maybe it's after a week, it's after a month, maybe it's working far. But in this case, that's the closure that I'm referring to, you see. Because remember, initially when the mine just collapsed, there were various people, including prophecies, that they come, these people are alive, they will be taken by some creature. There's going to be a time of them to... That causes a lot of confusion to the families, not that I'm blaming some other beliefs, but you see there's a variety of thinking or thoughts in the minds of the families that make it difficult. And what they've left the families, it's a proper counseling, you see, to deal with the state of mind. If I can make an example, there's a time where you can look at the side of the mind. You see that he's thinking maybe that I might see you, Yvonne, because of the relationship between mother and daughter that they have, and the bond and the love that I had. So all the families need is closure so that they can heal, they can go back to their normal lives.
Harry, it's been quite a number of years now, nearly 6 years. It's since 2016. I wonder if the families are prepared to accept a reality that they may never get this container to come above ground, and what that reality would do to them.
Yes, it will bring the closure we've been anticipating for. Remember, one of the achievements through Mr. Herman Mashaba's intervention by acquiring a legal report for us. Initially, our government was saying it is impossible to retrieve the container. It's too dangerous. It's too risky for some other people. But through the PIA Act, when we requested information, our government changes its tone now. They are saying they agree that the container indeed is retrievable. So that is one step ahead. We are moving on the right direction, we believe, but one step, many months or years, you see. Because this thing, we believe, is simple because it happened almost similar incident on 2010, whereby miners were trapped 688 meters underground. That was a national crisis. The Chilean government sit down, the entire cabinet, they strategize, how can we find our trapped fellow citizens? And they've achieved that with assistance of one of our own major companies here in the Republic of South Africa. That is why on our arrival there inside the mine on the 30th of April, we were saying and were still saying that let our government intervene, let our government sit down with all the stakeholders and strategize how fast, how quick can we do this, because this thing, they've said themselves that it is doable.
And one of the things that is clear with this particular tragedy over the years is that it's no longer only about the families of the three that, were trapped inside that container. It is also about the workers as well, who are hoping that the mine can start working again because they're hoping that they can be able to earn some kind of salaries, because we saw over the years, some of them even taking their lives because they are in debt and they're not able to cope. I wonder, how are those who are working at the mine, who are hoping that it be reopened, doing?
Yes, you see, it's not only the families, it's not only the employees. I can make just one example. There's an Indian shop just meters away from where the mine was. It is owed over 250,000 by our fellow colleagues, you see, because they were taking building materials and so forth and foodstuff on credit, you see. So the impact, it shows the level of the impact, you see. It's a very small location or village, this one, that was relying on both the mines economically as far as employment is concerned, you see. You see, like myself, maybe at home I've got maybe my fiance, I've got a spouse and maybe 3-4 kids, you see. Thousands and thousands of people are affected by the closure of these mines, not only the families and the employees and business as well.
Now, very briefly, in 30 seconds, I wonder, because there's quite a lot that is happening when it comes to reopening the mine. There's buyers that are saying that they want to buy the mine. They do have the means. They want to be able to reopen so that you bring back the economy of that particular area. Where exactly is the holdup when you are speaking to government about this mine reopening?
Yeah, it's litigation and so forth, but the long and short of it, we're talking about mines that are regulated by DMRE, which is the wing of our government. What is it that DMRE is saying regarding the issue of Lily Mine? Let the Minister of DMRE tell South Africa and the world, explain to us, because we don't know, we're not in government, we're not in private sector, we are affected parties. Let the department tell South Africa and the world what is holding progress in the issue of Lily Mine.
All right, Mazibuko, thank you so much for your time this evening. Definitely a difficult day, as he says there, that Francis, it's not only about the families that are hoping for this container to be retrieved, but at the same time, there's the livelihoods that are at stake here.
And 1,000 days of hopeful protesting, incredible.